Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We hope you're enjoying the cloud go-to-market experience so far. We have some amazing sessions coming up for you. So with that, I'm going to kick it off to Kristen for her next session.
Thank you so much, Jillian. Hi, everyone. My name is Kristen Barassa, and I'm the Strategic Manager of Partnerships here at Tackle. And I'm here with Chaitra Vadulapalli and Adriana Gasconi, and we are here to talk to you today about how to open economic access through digital sales. So, ladies, to start off, the first question, which full disclosure, I have written them down to just make sure that we cover everything today and I don't go too off topic. So the first question is, tell me about your journey as tech entrepreneurs and how have you navigated some of your biggest challenges that you faced as women? So Chaitra, let's start with you.
Thanks, Kristen. First is thank you for having me. Really honored to be part of your amazing event. So a little bit about me. I started my career at Oracle Consulting. So I had just graduated from my engineering in electrical and came to US and I said, what do I want to do? So I got to really understand that I needed to go into database programming. So kind of started the career at Oracle Consulting. So the reason why I picked consulting is so I could spend time with the clients and you could solve problems every day with technology. However, the decision around licensing and contracts and customer experience was completely out of reach because that one was a place where whether you were an entry level or a director, and when you're a woman, it didn't really matter. At that time, you didn't have access to be part of it. So there was a lot of lack of representation around the decision table. And it was inaccessible for most of the time for me. And I used to wonder, is it my experience or is it me? What is going on? Is it the language? So there was a lot of self-doubt that was created because you were not invited. So when I look back, I would look at is the way I approached is not having representation and not being invited to lead the executive conversation was a skilling component. So I kind of spent a lot of time mastering systems around licensing, the business models around software, especially the IP related stuff, and building IP based innovation, having a patent around it. And then really spending a lot of time building a trust based relationship and investing in executive presence. Those are all the things I had to invest. So when I was able to change my optics of how I look at the world and started to contribute to the strategic roadmap, I was able to actually get access and the doors opened up and I was part of the decision-making process. So that's the kind of areas is how I navigated when I didn't get the representation or place where I need to make decisions.
Yeah, that definitely seems, that's probably the best way you could have gone about it. So it's awesome. Adriana, what about for you?
So I started my career in tech working at a very small startup, sort of like a combination of YouTube and Netflix, a little bit before its time. And I loved the innovative process of creating a product, testing it on users, and iterating. Right, that was really at the core of creativity, essentially, and what really drew me to the startup culture. But there was a major issue every day. I'd walk into the company, into the office and look around the room and I was the only woman, and not only the only woman of color. So the culture was quite toxic. It was a very bro culture, and I guess really typical of Silicon Valley in that day and age. So around 2006, 2007. And I knew that I wasn't the only woman experiencing these challenges. So I went out on my own to start the organization, which sort of kicked off as a cocktail sort of networking party to see how many people would show up. And we had over 200 women in attendance. Again, this is in San Francisco. California, and I was just, flabbergasted at the number of women that not only existed in tech at that time within that city, but also the amount of people who are interested in joining an organization like Girls in Tech. So it initially started as a small group of like-minded women and like navigating this very male-dominated world of tech. And it's now a massive global entity. So we are in 57 cities, in 42 countries, in 6 continents around the globe, with close to, I think, over 90,000 active members at this point. So we're really focusing on providing women at all stages of their career, but primarily university to mid-level career women. And we really want to provide them with the career support, training, mentoring, tools, skills that they really need to advance within their careers and be successful and also achieve their personal dreams. So the more women who pursue their passion in tech, the better off the entire industry will be, and the better off we will be as a society. So this is true of all things. All voices deserve to be heard.
Absolutely. And I love how between the two of you, you both bring such very interesting perspectives. And it's just, I'm so grateful to be able to talk with you guys today. So for Chaitra, my question for you is going to be, there's a lot of discussion throughout the event today about B2B buyers wanting the B2C buying experience, and that being a driving force for traditional software companies flocking to the cloud marketplaces. And since you have a front row seat, can you kind of talk to that a little bit? And see, this is why I had to write it down. Like that was quite a mouthful. So if you could talk about it, that would be awesome.
Oh, fantastic, Kristen. And Adriana is so spot on that the representation is so low in the tech industry. Now, when you think about cloud computing, which is the 21st century go-to model for information technology, so as companies prioritize their as a service providers over traditional vendors, right? And they're also trying to accelerate their digital transformation projects and also enable the new normal of work the way we do because of the COVID. So I always say is like the cloud and AI is here to stay. Same thing with the digital currency is here to stay. So are you comfortable embracing that? Now, coming to cloud computing, 6 years ago, when I was like transitioning out of Microsoft and saying, okay, I want to build is a tech solution for the enterprise market, because the market was going to be $1 trillion in cloud. And now today they're just shy of like 800 billion. And now if you look at it, there's just so close that that market is ripe for cloud solutions and AI solutions to be adopted. So what we are estimating is global enterprises will be spending more than $7 trillion in the next 4 years as they invest in modernization, building the new global infrastructure and the foundation for growth, and also support the simple and secure and reliable access to data and services according to IDC. So some of the drivers that will drive would be the big cloud initiatives, the data initiative, the mobility initiatives, and IoT initiatives. So now let's look at how the buying process happened. What we are seeing is 83% of the enterprise buyers are likely or extremely likely to purchase their solution through the cloud marketplace. That's how, very much like an Amazon experience, I can go and basically say, I love this product and let me go buy it. Out of that, 43% of the enterprise buyers say that the top reason for purchasing the solution through marketplace is to take advantage of their committed spend with the cloud vendors. So that is another stat, right? The buying trends are changing. Now let's look at the lens from a woman's perspective. It's 1% of the women are represented in the cloud economy and also on the cloud marketplace. So if you did a research last year around the Cloud 100 list, there was only one woman who was represented out of the Cloud 100 list. So that's kind of sad story, right? So, and the second is 2% of the cloud spend is going to women tech founders in the enterprise sector. So there was a big need for it. And personally going through the challenge of having access to the investor, access to the advisor, access to the marketplace, that's when we established Women in Cloud to create $1 billion in economic access for women tech founders in the enterprise sector and leveraging the cloud marketplace in the core of it. Like we want to make sure every woman is co-sell ready, they are co-selling with the hyperscalers, and they're leveraging marketplace. So the successes we have seen over the last 3-4 years is through the work, we launched 6 cohort members, and there are 70 of them who have very solid solution in the enterprise market, raising investment to grow their company. Second is Microsoft Cloud Marketplace already introduced the diversity segmentation in the marketplace, which never existed. So they could actually help the enterprise supplier chain to make sure that they can easily find diverse partners who they can buy the solution from. And that I see is a breakthrough, leadership that is going to happen across other marketplace, which is Google and Amazon and Red Hat and Salesforce. And what it does is co-selling via marketplace will become the new trend. And that's where I would say will be a huge opportunity for people thinking about whether I should or whether I shouldn't. You should be in the marketplace. That's where the buying is happening. If you're not there, you are actually losing your customer base today. And with the Tackle infrastructure, it makes it also very easy for you to go through the onboarding process and also manage all your sales activities there. So that's the kind of things that we are seeing in the marketplace right now.
Wonderful. So would you say the time is right to kind of take advantage of the marketplace and those Mac budgets and, just strike while the iron's hot, so to speak?
I completely in alignment with you, Kristen. I would say the timing is probably right now or maybe 6 months down the road, because a lot of the leadership, which is the old leadership in the tech industry, is moving out and the new leadership is coming in. So they will be more investing in the co-sell relationship. And that one is product-led, joint product build, rather than just a simple partnership like before. Is if you have a customer list, send it to me, I will approve, and then we know that you have a commit. But through the marketplace, it's all automated, and you can have the transparency and traceability. And marketplace is the new procurement system for most of the customers. So leverage that one.
Wonderful. Now, Adriana, my next question goes to you. You've written a book called Tech Lady Boss, and you talk about diversity being a mere metric without belonging. How do you see successful software companies recruiting and maintaining a diverse and inclusive workforce, and also shifting cultural policies?
Great question. It's actually Tech Boss Lady. Just in case people are searching it, just want to make sure that the title is correct. But yeah, so it's definitely a labor of love. Writing a book is definitely sort of like a box that I wanted to check, and something that was such a learning experience, but such an amazing process where I learned so much and grew so much and got to really connect with folks that I look up to on a deeper level during the interview process. So it was really, really, really awesome experience. But in terms of the book, and specifically revolving around diversity and culture and belonging within companies, changes really need to start at the top. Women need to be in these leadership roles, and it's not just gender diversity, but also, racial diversity. They need to be in boardrooms where all of the critical decisions are being made. And at Girls in Tech, we started an initiative to encourage equality in the boardrooms. And we're trying to get to 50-50 by 2025. So check it out on the website if you'd like to learn more about it and pledge. We believe that women and any marginalized or underrepresented group need to have seats at the board level. If corporate boards continue to be comprised of nearly exclusive white males, then corporate policy will be reflective of only their needs and their wants. So women, BIPOC, LGBTQIA, differently abled, all these groups need to be reflected in corporate board makeups. And we must hold organizations accountable here, and also look to support legislation that pushes this agenda. Some good resources that I've personally used and have recommended to other corporations is, Culture Amp. Culture Amp is a company that really focuses on doing an audit of a company culture to make sure employees are happy and productive and healthy, and they feel safe and comfortable in their work environment so that they can be the best that they can be and really focus on their talent and skills. So this is a great way to capture in survey form how your companies are doing in terms of employee productivity and happiness. Another recommendation I would make is the Myers-Briggs Institute Inclusive Leadership Training Program. And this is one that Girls in Tech does a few times a year. And it really focuses on, again, capturing an audit, but executing on training that helps leaders in all different positions at all different levels learn how to be more inclusive. So it could be in meetings, or the way they write emails, or the way that they do reviews, or recruit and interview folks. So both of these programs have really worked well for us and will continue to be on the forefront of what we recommend for companies that we work with.
Fantastic. So I will say that I have been listening to the audiobook, and it's extremely well narrated, well written. You do a great job of adding in some comedy, and there were a few things that, like, we've talked about earlier in the conversation, like with the founder who was looking for funding and didn't want to admit that she was pregnant, and she did that twice. It was one of those moments where you're just like, oh, this is not okay. So just wanted to throw that out there for whoever's listening. It's 100% worth the read. It's fantastic.
Oh, thanks, Kristen. I really appreciate that. It means a lot.
And then the whole entrepreneur versus entrepreneur, like that was, I'm like, oh, I can totally relate to this as a non-entrepreneur. Like this is really good. So just wanted to throw that out. Now, Chaitra, you did a TED Talk on economic access for women entrepreneurs. How can companies support women-led entrepreneurs to create economic access that can fuel billion-dollar opportunities to advance United Global Goals?
Yes, Kristen, did you get a chance to watch it?
I did.
That's good. Excellent. I would say that probably was one of the most awesome experience doing the TED Talk, because it helps you formulate your idea as a platform of what we want the idea to spread. And I recommend every one of you, if you don't have it, add it to your bucket list, because it feels like doing the Mount Everest climb. It's that kind of intense programming is required. Now, coming back to the question is, how can we have the companies supported? I would say right now in the current market, every company is transforming the corporate ESG program, and ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance related activities. So they're all working on it, and that's the new acronym, three-letter acronym that every company, especially if you're in the S&P and the SEC, is looking for it. So that means the window is open to address the representation and access related challenges. So representation means inviting the women and the BIPOC community and the veteran community and all the communities that were not represented. That is a great place for you to really unlock and then make it part of your scorecard. So what we are looking at is there's an opportunity for women to step in to lead and influence the corporate ESG program within the company. So we recently launched a WIC Lead program to really help the CEOs to assist in developing their the ESG program, where women are going to lead and influence the effort using cloud and AI technologies. So with this ESG transformation, if you make, they'll also make the SEC happy, but the way you can embed the changes is making sure your supplier diversity programs are adopting cloud marketplace as your buying program. Basically, you can buy solutions from there, and also invite women and diverse partners to do business with you. We are also looking at making the amendment to the 51% certification policies to help tech women to do business with them, because only tech entrepreneurs have this challenge. Is if you raise the funding and if you dilute your ownership, you also lose your certification of, as a women-led company. So we need to make sure that the benefits are not reduced because they're taking money to grow their company. Second one is invest in developing women, especially invest in leadership skilling, professional development, and technical skilling, especially in cloud and AI. Not every woman has been given opportunity to get ready for cloud and AI, so investing there. Identifying the exec sponsors within the company who can help them grow within the company, because there's a big need for that. Not mentorship, really is sponsorship is what is missing. So they can be at the decision-making table where they can make decisions, and they also have budget responsibility to drive the programs and initiative. And third is invest in the community building programs or community development, like Girls in Tech, Women in Cloud, or any other community where we can actually support the rollout of strategic initiative. That's what we exist. We make things easier for you so you don't have to figure out on your own. So when a community and a corporation comes together via the ESG program, it just is magical. So we can make that, I would say, that's a very easy way to advance the United goals.
Wonderful. And then it looks like Faranda has been sharing some links. So thank you, Faranda. And then, so it looks like we have a comment in the chat here, and it looks like Sherelle Francis said, investment in policy reform and leadership development is priceless. So
absolutely.
Definitely hits home. And then if we have any questions, we can answer those as we go as well. So Adriana, how has COVID-19 impacted women in the workforce, would you say? And you're muted.
Now
you're unmuted. It's okay. I do it all the time.
I got a barking dog back here. Sorry about that. Well, I would say COVID-19 has obviously affected all of us in so many different ways, so many different levels. But COVID-19 has severely impacted all women in the workforce primarily. Women are often the caregivers of children, caregivers of the elderly and other family members. So as COVID has hit, women left the workplace at staggering numbers in order to care for their families. In some cases, companies are flexible enough and provided that support so that they could work from home, but in many cases they were not. So they had to quit their jobs. Others were impacted by COVID-induced layoffs or rollbacks in hiring. So you've diminished, salaries or income for your home, for your household. It's also a fact that women in STEM careers were already dramatically disadvantaged compared to their male counterparts in areas of opportunity and pay. And it follows that women would be disproportionately impacted by COVID specifically. So we're still taking inventory on what has been called the great gender slide backwards as women left or were pushed out of the workforce due to COVID. I think the jury is still out on the specific impact working remotely has had on women in tech. It's a bit early yet to understand what this has done, or rather is doing to impact equality in the workforce. We have a lot of research ahead of us, and consider this. What if men are more able to return to work in person than women, right? So this is going to have a long-term effect. Who who's often juggling all the responsibilities at home. So, homeschooling, taking care of the kids, the domestic duties, as well as potentially having a job. So that usually falls on women. What overall result might that have? So there's just so many questions that have to be asked and answered before we know fully what the impact will be, and that may take many, many years, even decades, to fully comprehend.
So would it be fair to say it's probably made it significantly more difficult just right off the bat?
Oh yeah. I mean, as mentioned, women have had to juggle so much, and, from family life, educating their kids, to juggling domestic duties as well as work. And many instances, companies were not flexible, or in many instances, women were required to be, in the office to do their jobs. So those people thought, there's just no way I can juggle all of this, so I might as well just quit my job. So it's been really, really challenging to experience that fluctuation, but also we'll see what will happen, because we know how difficult it is for mothers to get back into the workforce after being out for a certain amount of time. So Girls in Tech really wants to support women within this sort of transitionary period, to make sure that they have the skills, the network, the mentorship, the support, career development support, to get back into the workforce.
That's fantastic. So what are two big pieces of advice that you would give to women in tech? And Chaitra, we can start with you.
Boy, there's, I don't know if I'm in the place to give advice, but I think I can share some perspectives, right? The perspective is, we are in a place where the economic opportunity is huge and amazing for anybody interested to build $1 million business. So the point is, your representation really matters at this time, because if you don't, the opportunity door closes. And we don't know what the next big opportunity in $1 trillion, chunk that will come in. So I would say is step in and take responsibility to make it happen. The second is, don't make assumptions, just engage. Your voice counts, your input counts in designing the solutions which are systematically can unbreak the access for everybody. So that would be my advice.
And then, Adriana, what would be your guidance or advice or suggestion?
I would say that, take the bull by the horns. You belong in tech, and tech needs diversity. Tech needs you just as you are. So really take those risks and do what you love, because even though we still have a long way to go to create a diverse environment in the tech workforce, it'll take baby steps, and being involved is part of the process to eliminate gender equality, or to create gender equality. Also building your community of supporters, because it does take a village. So ensuring that you can bring together your personal advisory board, is what I call it, to make sure that you have the support you need. You have accessibility to certain opportunities, and can ask questions, and have some guidance in terms of building out your career. So definitely build your community of supporters.
So in terms of opportunities, how can the audience engage with you guys after the session today? Like, are there best practices? Do you guys have anything coming up? Because I ultimately can see the audience walking away and interacting with you, Chaitra, and then you, Adriana, to better serve the community. So how can they engage with you after this?
Well, we have at Girls in Tech, we have a conference coming up on September 7th, and it's the Girls in Tech conference. It's in Nashville, and it is a very inspirational day of keynote speeches, fireside chats, workshop sessions, and a cocktail networking reception. and has all of the Nashville flair associated with it as well. So we invite you all to come out and attend. It's going to be an amazing event. We also have an amazing newsletter that features all of our events and programs and curriculum that we're producing throughout the year. We have local chapter programs as well as our corporate programs. So check that out at girlsintech.org. And you can also sign up to be a part of our newsletter and get those alerts. And we welcome you to join. So thank you.
Fantastic. And Chaitra.
So there are a couple of things that if you're building your cloud business, we have a WIC Inspire event in July, which is in tandem with Microsoft Inspire. So what you can do is learn about how to build your business with cloud and how to leverage the marketplace as your new sales route. So you need to be part of that so you understand how the new sales engines work for the future. The second thing that we are doing is also Empower Her Access campaign. There's awards in play right now. So nominate your company and your leadership. Recognize women who are really doing fantastic work, and also your company who's really doing a great work in the DEI effort. So recommend you to explore that piece. The third area that we are looking at is around the 51% certification policy changes. So if you're interested in moving the policies forward, then go ahead and nominate yourself to be part of the conversation. But more than that, just go to womenincloud.com and sign up, and you will know exactly what you can really participate, because we are more about community doing things and taking action rather than just sitting there and trying to figure out why this is not happening. So come and join us to create $1 billion in access for each other.
Fantastic.
Thank
Well,
you.
ladies, thank you both for taking the time to talk with me today. And it's been great talking with you. And hopefully I will see you in person one day.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Kristen. It was great to be here.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Thank you, Adriana. Bye.
Bye-bye.